Tucker Carlson called for the arrest of pornographers. That is so bad. That is so right-wing. Like, that is so Christian. Put them in jail, imprison them, lock them up. You know, I would love to be a cop in that world. Like, can you imagine the hard on you have? Like, you go to someone's house and you sneak a little bit of hentai on his computer. You put a picture of Ari with a titty, and then you can put those cuffs on him, and you can shake him. You know, shake, and then you put him into a security prison. You put someone's son into a prison. Like, that makes you feel like a man, and I want that. I want to be a police officer in that state. I want to be in John De La Rosa's world. You know, just arrest children everywhere. Arrest the 18-year-olds. Just like put them in prison because they watch La Gente. All jokes aside, though, I do notice that a lot of people on Twitter are joining a mental asylum now. To me, it's a little bit weird seeing how individuals that I personally know and have respected went from being persecuted for more than a decade over trivial petty shit, like jokes, like memes, and after getting all that persecution under the Jack Dorsey era, now they are becoming unhinged. And the thing is, like, I know they don't believe in it. Like, this is what pisses me off, right? I know these people do not believe in it, and they're pretending to be perpetually offended in order to try and get other people canceled and other people's lives ruined. You need to understand, when they say porn, they don't actually mean Pornhub, right? Like, they mean anything erotic, like any type of lewd imagery, any type of risque video game, everything, right? That's what they mean. And I know that it doesn't really bother them. Like, this gentleman, for instance, on his timeline, he had furry pornography of the homosexual nature, right? And it reminds me, like, so many people that were into social justice, like so many commentators, they would freak out over racist memes and racist jokes and sexist memes. And you would look at their history, and they would say, like, far worse stuff in the past. And so this is not really about banning things. It's not even about power tripping, I guess. In a way, it's about hurting other people, like joining parts of communities, you know, whatever is like the dominant culture, and just wanting to see livelihoods ruined and destroyed so that you fit in a group. This is pretty much what it is. It's like the peasant that has like the pitchfork or the mob. Like, for him, it's a social activity. It's a group thing. It's not because he wants to improve the world, right? Like, it's not because he actually wants to make the world a better place. And the thing with pornography, like, this is what I think. You get Nick Fuentes now, which is basically saying that it's sabotaging normal people's relationship and it's making people gay. Like, from a homosexual saying this, I guess I must think that he is right, because, like, maybe he understands it better than me. But I'm actually looking around, and I'm trying to think of any couple that I know. See, because not only am I married, but I actually know people that are in relationships. And I can't think of a single case where pornography has actually ruined the relationship, right? Like, someone was watching some titty on the computer, and that led to a divorce. I'm not saying like it doesn't happen, okay? But I don't know of a single one. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not making it up, right? I do know of relationships that have been destroyed because the person was into alcohol. I do know relationships that were destroyed because the person was into gambling. I do know relationships that were destroyed because of the legislation that we have, where usually the woman manages to get half of his shit, right? So, like, you have a financial incentive for a divorce. Like, I do know those. But I don't know, like, anyone who actually got a divorce because they watched a titty online. And so, my only conclusion is that the people that want to ban the titty is because they are aware just how integrated the titty is to the internet. Like, if you want to go on Twitter, you're going to see titties. If you want to go on Discord, there's titties. If you use the Google search engine, you can find titties. And so the only solution that's being proposed, there's no other solution that people want to take seriously, right? Like, they're not going to say parental controls. They're not going to say, let's teach people, you know, how to be more pious. No, like, the only solution is for government-based legislation of censoring the internet.
And again, like seeing the same people that have been censored for so long, pretending that they don't get the context, pretending that they don't get the nuance, and all of them are coming out of the woodwork right fucking now with the exact same talking points, with the exact same buzzwords, with the exact same studies. It makes me wonder, like, is this not just agitprop? Is this not just being astroturfed? Because I think it is, like the internet now in 2025 is a lot better than it used to be 10 years ago. Like, let's be honest, I remember when I was younger and I would Google Overwatch characters, like the first 5 pages of it would have been tits. There was no filter on Google, right? Like, you would just Google something and you would see, among the search results, you'd see porn. And that's how the internet used to be for more than 2 decades, and now it's actually gotten better. And again, I want to point out that I'm a reasonable person, right? Like, I don't say that pornography should be everywhere. Like, I don't enjoy the fact that if I were to go on Steam and the first couple of games that came out would be like tits on my monitor. I do think like it should be for like people who want to find it, it should exist, right? And for people that don't want to see it, it shouldn't be there. And for children, there should be parental controls. And there should be a society that doesn't legislate for single moms. And so, that's my take on the issue. But apparently, like, other people are like, no. In order to censor the internet, if we actually push on this, we're going to get a lot of suckers that agree with us. And we can see what's happening in the UK, right? Like, they're using the child safety law in order to crack down on talks about immigration, on cracking down on the internet, and it's only because people are too cowardly to say no. Because it's an embarrassing topic. That's why they're doing it, right? And it's also the thing, it's impossible for a real woman to compete with the availability and the novelty of pornography. It's like, well, first of all, let's look at Nick, right? Nick is a very famous individual. Like, he's got so many subscribers, and I know other content creators that have less subscribers than him, and there's always women that will reach out. I mean, take, for instance, Darkside Phil. Darkside Phil managed to have, like, how many girlfriends and wives by now? This is normal, by the way, right? It doesn't matter how the man looks. If you're popular, if even 1% of your female audience reaches out, you're getting away. You want me to believe that Nick Fuentes, who's a wealthy man, has his own home, has his own show, he's popular, he's charismatic, whether you agree with him or not, like the numbers speak out, he's charismatic. Where's his wife? Where's his children? Like, give me a fucking break, Like, we're getting lectured by people that aren't married on how a human relationship should be. Like, let's ask John De La Rose about his wife and his kids. And meanwhile, here on the degenerate side, on the Gunnar issue, awful people like me, right? Or Madame Savi, or many of the other people that have bad reputations for being on the side of freedom of creativity and being on the side of freedom of expression. All of us are married, have kids, and also have happy lives. And we're getting, like, a lot of flack because of it. It's like, oh, what type of marriage do you have? Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, you don't have a marriage. You don't have kids. So, like, why are you speaking out? Like, why aren't you leading by example? Like, if I was to see these people married, happy, with children, and then they wouldn't have to speak out. Like, just by existing, they would radiate this aura of, like, people wanting to be like them, this aura of success, right, and happiness. But what I'm seeing is that almost all of the bad porn guys, they're living miserable lives. All they're doing all day is doom scrolling. They're constantly unhappy. And meanwhile, the people on the other side, like the artists and all the other guys, right, they're married. They're not complaining. They're okay with their lives. Right? And this is the level of disconnect that I don't get. It's like, how is it that the dredgent of society happen to have just happy, normal lives? Meanwhile, the pious ones, they don't have children. So like, what? It's my responsibility to have kids for them so that my kids pay taxes so that they can ask for less immigration while my kids work for them when they're old? Like, I'm sorry, but we need to have this conversation. We just do. At the end of the day, I don't think that the entire conversation is natural anyway. Like I mentioned, like these talking points didn't exist on the internet 5 years ago, or if they did, they were very low. Like barely anyone talked about it. Barely anyone gave a shit that the internet was filled with hentai 5 years ago, and all of a sudden now it's such a big issue, it's such a social calamity, and the only solution is to get digital ID. I just don't fucking buy it. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that I'm one of the few voices that talks about it, but I understand, again, it's a conversation that brings shame and stigma, and so a lot of people won't do it. But hey, I talked about racism, sexism, and misogyny all these years ago, when it was a social stigma to be considered a racist, a sexist, or a misogynist, and I was like, no, freedom of creativity is important. Jokes are just jokes. Banter is just banter. Like, I was consistent with this. And so I don't see why I shouldn't be consistent with this now, especially when they're using the Mott and Bailey tactic. And for them, pornography can mean video games, can mean TV shows, can mean movies, can mean comic books, right? They're not just talking about Pornhub, they're talking about social media, they're talking about... the European Union basically wants now to basically get into people's private messages, to eliminate internet privacy altogether, just to crack down on porn. And I'm thinking, like, well, isn't it a little bit too much, though? Like, at what point do you not say that the medicine is worse than the cost? Because this is, like, literally going back to the era of COVID, right? Like, where the healthy people have to show QR code in order to gain access, where the healthy people have to constantly prove and give away their rights, and the government gets to supervise. And I personally don't want to get to that time, and I generally don't like these changes. But it is what it is, Like, I guess it's popular right now with the people that used to do social justice, with the people that used to do cancel culture. They need a different ideology that can allow them to pick up the pitchforks, to pick up the torches, and to be unhinged. And so this new crusade, it's like, okay, ban pornography and get people arrested, get them fired, get them lynched, whatever the fuck, allows them a safe space to continue in their unhinged ways. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.